Have you had any mentors along the way?
Yeah, over the years, I think the latest and in some ways the greatest has been Walt Fritz. Do you know who Walt is?
Awesome.
Yeah, Walt Fritz is a manual therapist, personal, not, I'm sorry, I was going to say personal trainer. He's a physical therapist. He lives in New York. Walt taught myofascial release under John Barnes for a lot of years. And I say jokingly that he fought in the modality wars of the early ages of the massage industry, because Barnes and some of their folks were like very, I don't know, as the explanations and pain science started to change, Barnes became, in a weird way, I think, like more religious in a sense about their magical form of bodywork or whatever, and Walt over time came out for the science-informed form of manual therapy and myofascial release. So Walt and I connected. We have very different styles. Like I'm, wearing like an ACDC t-shirt and tie fisherman pants, and he's like in khakis, bald, nice little spectacles, very prim, kind of proper East Coast gentleman. But the body work is very similar. I think in recent years, Walt is the one that I go to if I'm having a problem. If there's something that I bumped into, like I encounter a problem with a client that I'm like, Walt, they're having some pain and I don't understand. Like Walt is usually the person that I'll be very patient with him and contact him to say, hey, can I get some help with this? And in recent years, Walt has been the one that I've gone to just periodically, usually a couple times a year, to ask questions of.
Okay. And do y'all usually just talk on the phone, or y'all able to kind of like meet like in person, have meetings?
We've done podcasts a couple times, kind of conversations like this. And then in addition, I usually just send him like a quick Facebook message if I have a question about something.
It's good to have that support system to kind of, you can bounce some stuff off of, or if you have a question, they have that knowledge.
Yeah.
Were there any obstacles that you had to deal with while building a clientele?
Yeah, there's a lot of marketing and business that I wish I could teach massage therapists, but mostly I find they're not completely interested because a lot of their schooling is fixated on getting them to work for someone else, not necessarily work in private practice. Private practice and running a business isn't doing massage. It's almost like being an artist. Being an artist and making great food is one thing. A lot of people can do that. But you got to be able to do both. Because if you can do both, then you can really enhance the art and like continue to fuel it, because you can buy ingredients and equipment and all the stuff you need. If you can't do that, you wind up in this starving artist situation.
So you got to be able to kind of master being able to sell what your art is, basically.
Yeah, I in some ways, I think when I say that the business is more important, what I'm saying is I don't think students have a problem mastering the art form. They don't have a bodywork problem. They have a business problem. And when I talk to them about business, they're perpetually sort of confused because, like if I go into a school and give a demonstration, I run around with this and go, oh my God, are you kidding? Are you not on TikTok? What are you doing? What are you doing? You're not on TikTok? What are you doing on TikTok? Are you out of your mind? What do you think is going on in 2022? Now, school owners freak out about this because they're still teaching the marketing from the yellow pages half the time. The problem is the marketplace is changing very, very rapidly, but the core business skills, I honestly think this, our grandparents were in some ways better business people, and they were working in one very specific, like in-person situation. Like even the phone was relatively new to them at points in time.
Yeah.
So they were used to dealing with one-on-one, the person comes into the store. It's interesting to me because when I talk to students, like they always talk about word of mouth. This is a common one. They're like, I like word of mouth. And I'm like, this is word of mouth that scales globally. Word of mouth is word of mouth. It's word of mouth. Scales globally. Still word of mouth. And they're like, no, but I don't want to, I don't want to make videos.
You gotta do it.
Well,
Yeah.
And you work in food. Why did I? When you contacted me, why I was like, oh, it's him. Oh, this dude makes all the food. Because I had been like, oh, man, making plantain, dude, the cookies look great. Look at this. And it's like, I don't know you. I didn't even know when it said El Taco Killa, I think, or whatever. When it came
so you mentioned earlier that you were working your private practice and at the same time working with a chiropractor.
Yeah.
Was it difficult at times to kind of sustain yourself during this period?
Let's put it this way. I have a very strong, it's weird, I have a very strong work ethic. I literally worked so much so that it wasn't just doing sessions. Like I had 12 hours a week at the chiropractor's office and then whatever I had in private practice, and you try to build up as much as you can without like falling over. But I was spending all my downtime figuring out video production and lighting, and I got a light back here and I got a camera here and it's running through my computer, and you had to learn how to do all the software and stuff for the first time. It's like I had a website and it was WordPress and whatever. I remember times at the chiropractor's office where someone would cancel and I'd have like an hour gap in between clients. And I would literally run to the room, lay down on the table and go to sleep after setting my alarm to wake up 10 minutes before the client was ready to come in. Because I was exhausted. I stayed at the chiropractor's office longer than I should have, technically. But it was also very important to me, because I owned a home at that time, that I have the money to be able to maintain the mortgage and our standard of living without having to major financial hurdles or issues.
Understood. That's one thing I did notice right off the bat when we started to work on clients, is that it does take a lot out of you as far as your energy. So it's important to take care of yourself and get enough rest and eat, properly. Because, after a 2-hour session, you can be pretty winded, And if you have potentially clients back to back, you want to make sure that you got your head on the swivel,
Yeah.